All right, guys, we are live once again. We're here in Vancouver, if you're just tuning in. I'm here at City Hall covering there was an anti-Islamaphobia rally taking place here at City Hall. I started a broadcast earlier, a live broadcast. I'm going to wait a second to make sure we have people tuning in. See if I have some people coming into the chat. Make sure we got some guys tuning in before we get into this. All right, I can see one thumb up, some people tuning in. All right, we have people joining us. Excellent. So we lost our feed earlier. We were rolling live earlier when, just to reiterate what happened, just to break it down, when we first got here, we noticed, there was a few thousand people, probably 4,000 people. And we got into the center of this crowd, and one lady was giving a speech. Speaking out against racism, systemic racism in our society and this and that, and then started spewing on a lot of, white hatred. And Jamie, somebody who was here with me, beside me, ended up saying, hey, I thought this was about, not being racist. And people around us took that as... they didn't like it, and all of a sudden they surrounded us and started chanting, "Nazis go home, Nazis go home." Yeah, apparently we're the Nazis.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, were you badly about, Muslims and stuff? Oh, okay.
No, but a lot of people thought we were.
That's probably because you're white. That's probably why.
Yes. Yeah. See, she gets it. It's because we were white. But we did get surrounded, and a lot of people were making those chants, and then. Bam! I get smoked in the head with a beach ball. It's better than a fist. You're right. Yes, at least it wasn't a fist. Yes, we got something going on here, guys. Let's check this out. Okay, I'm just putting my camera up here. I can't even see what's going on, but hopefully you guys can see. Here we go. See if I can get my mic in here.
It's not news.
Hey, it's Brendan. Brendan. Excuse me. Brendan, tell us what's going on, brother.
Hey, Dan. My friend, Dan Dix. It's good to see you. How are you?
All right, guys, we are surrounded here with Brendan, and he's having an entire crowd chanting, "Shame on you." Why are they chanting this?
I decided to enter the belly of the beast and speak my mind. And apparently I'm the only one, excluding yourself and some others.
Fuck you, Brendan.
So...
Changing.
Brendan?
So, okay, guys, Brendan is obviously currently surrounded. These people don't like his ideas and his opinions. But shouldn't we be able to have an open and honest dialogue?
Do you think he's capable of an open
Brendan
and honest
doesn't deserve a platform. No. Because he's a racist, and we should not be spreading hate.
What did he say that's racist?
What makes him racist?
He's here.
He's here?
Wrong-sided. He's the wrong-sided.
You're calling him racist. That's a pretty strong statement to make. Why is he racist?
He supports Trump. Right?
Yeah.
Supporting Trump makes you racist? How so?
Brendan? I don't know.
He said that he wants
You're slandering him then.
for Canada.
What's that?
He said he wants a white ethno state for Canada. He's opposed to immigration.
No, I did not.
I did not say that. Do you believe that we have too much immigration into Canada?
I believe we need tighter controls on immigration. I believe in purely merit-based immigration, like Trump has advocated a merit-based immigration policy that only allows in people who are a benefit, a net benefit to the country as a whole, and not because you're related to someone here.
Do you know how much people give up in order for them to come to this country? Do you think it's easy?
Well, if you're an illegal immigrant, then yes. It's easy to cross a border. And I'm talking about America at this time, but there are illegal
Syrian
immigrants.
father to put his child in a boat and have that child die on the way over here? Do you think that's fucking easy? Is that easy? People die trying to come to this country.
How many Syrian refugees take boats to come to Canada?
My dude.
The numbers are not documented. I don't know. Not documented.
No, but like I'm just saying, how many boats? It happens in Europe all the time. They take it, and that's very documented. Even though, but when does that ever happen in Canada?
The point is it's undocumented. He's saying it's easy to cross a border. How easy to cross a border? You're trying to say that I don't have the facts. Does he have the facts?
I don't know, but I'm just asking.
I feel like this is really
So
one-sided.
you're saying just because the Syrian refugee
I feel like this
is
guy's
here,
on the wrong
who
team.
happened to lose his son in the boat on the way somewhere else, the death doesn't count because it wasn't in a boat on the way here and he's here now? Is that what you're saying?
What am I saying? What?
So just because the Syrian father who lost his son in a boat while trying to escape war and persecution,
I did vote for Trudeau.
just because his son didn't die in a boat on his way here directly,
And I'm
it
glad
doesn't
you're calling me a
count?
stupid cunt.
That's what it sounds like you're saying. Because it still counts.
What are you saying?
Go home,
What
racist.
exactly are you saying? What exactly are you saying? What are you saying?
Everybody,
Tell us what
stop.
you're saying.
I'd like to ask a question, please. Calmly and quietly, sir. Can I ask why you're here today? Just genuinely curious.
Cover the event.
So then why are you surrounded by all these people?
I don't know, because I'm asking this guy, and he was the center of attention.
Well, I'm here too for that whole
So basically what you're saying is you came to talk to a man wearing a Trump shirt. No. And everyone here assumed that you guys are Nazis and freaked out.
Sounds about right.
Thanks.
Turn and attack all the women around him.
So again, Brendan was surrounded here because he's wearing a red Trump shirt.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a protest about Islam, about people who are concerned about Islam and immigration from Islamic countries. And apparently there's just protesters, and so apparently fuck my opinion. So. Anyways, yeah, I've been talking to these people for probably over an hour, and we've had some good conversations, but it's pretty hard to get through to them. They've been indoctrinated pretty heavily by liberal media and liberal education.
Go home!
I have a question. I'd like to know what your thoughts are.
By
Education, kindness, and compassion.
How many people watching this at home are in their basements hiding?
Yeah.
I'd like to know what your thoughts are on Section 15 of our charter, which forbids discrimination.
Do you know that? Because we don't have what you're
No,
touting right
it's,
now.
it's in our charter, Section 15. You can't
What's
discriminate
our First
based on age,
Amendment,
sex,
Brendan?
race,
Yeah, what's the
or
First Amendment,
religion.
Brendan?
I'm against all hate speech laws. I think all speech should be free because hate speech can be loosely. Yes.
Well, we're covered by that with Section 2 of our charter, but I'm wondering what you think about Section 15, which explicitly forbids discriminating based on race, on religion, on different things like that.
Well, I think that's a slippery slope. I think that could just be defined loosely by whoever is in charge of the government. They could say anything is racist, anything is anti-Islamophobic, and so I'm against that.
What those things are.
No. Criticizing ideology is not racist. I was born here.
How did your
Where were
family
your
come here?
parents
Everyone
from?
here is an immigrant. How did your family come here? Well, there are some natives. All white people here are immigrants.
Why does that have to do with this?
Because you're a fucking immigrant!
Yes.
I'm an immigrant! You're an immigrant! He's an immigrant! That guy's an immigrant! That guy's an immigrant!
Yeah,
We're
unless
all
you're indigenous, you're
She's
not
an
an
I was
immigrant.
born here. Oh, I am?
How did your family get to Canada?
I was conceived and born here.
Did they have to go on a fucking boat? Did any of them get hurt? I'm sure they gave up a lot.
There was a strict vetting process. There wasn't. The country didn't have as high a population as it does now.
Because when my family came over, there wasn't a strict vetting process. It was just about if you had money so you could come over. Because that's kind of how it works for white colonists. You just have to get here, and it's fine.
No, because your parents were coming from a country that was allied, from a colony that are allied and have a lot of history together. They have good documentation. They know who you are and what your family are. And they know that if you're educated and you have money, you speak the language, you are a benefit to the country.
You don't speak the language of the native people.
It's factually wrong, okay.
Do you speak the language of the native people that lived here before your parents were here? Before your family and your ancestors were here?
It wasn't English.
Many native...
What languages do you speak?
English and Kekistani.
Why aren't you in England?
Because England's been taken over by Muslims.
So what do you think about Trump little penis?
That's another preposterous argument, but again, not what we're here for.
Yeah, there was a gentleman, Nazi, goose-stepping up Yukon Street about 2 hours ago. And he was throwing up a Heil Hitler salute, and he had a little Nazi pin on. And I want to ask you, genuinely, do you see why people could feel like that's a little intimidating and a little bit bad to allow in a country that has a lot of people who have been victimized by the literal Nazis, the guys that wear the badges? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the guy who's goose-stepping.
Another group who victimized Jews, Islam. Islam victimizes Jews all the time. Islam victimizes Jews all the time. No, I'm not a Nazi.
I asked you a very straightforward question about a Nazi who was on Yukon Street. And I'm asking you if you can understand why people who are Jewish, who are brown-skinned or black-skinned, could understandably not want that guy to be allowed to walk up and down Yukon Street, goose-stepping, Heil Hitlering, and wearing a swastika pin. That's my question, and you didn't answer that question. You deflected that question.
No, I didn't deflect.
You did deflect the question. You did not answer my question.
They should be against that individual. I'm not that individual. People, not all Trump supporters are that individual.
I didn't even say that. I explicitly said at the beginning of my question, I'm not talking about you.
I have a question then. If you should treat people as individuals, then why are all Muslims bad?
Because you should treat all people as individuals, but you should judge them by their ideology.
What's your ideology?
My ideology is...
I think that's why we're all here.
I'm an individualist. I'm not... An individualist, I'm a capitalist. That is basically my religion, is capitalism. And...
how's that working out for you?
I'm a little bit concerned that that capitalism is being attacked and destroyed. And immigration, it has a lot to do with that, because we are taking in people from leftist countries, from people who have a history of bowing down to their governments and
Do you know
just
that
being
countries with a higher
doormat.
rate of refugees and immigrants have more prosperous economies?
Immigrants are more likely to start a small business.
This is an economic fact that immigrants and refugees improve local economies, both at the municipal level, the provincial level, the federal level. If you look down in the
Are you
states,
talking
the
about
municipal level,
Chinese,
the state level.
Japanese?
I'm talking about immigrants across
Or are you talking
the board.
about North Africans?
I'm talking about everyone. Across the board, this is a fact.
This is a made-up fact. Yeah, China is a good one.
Yeah.
China is
There's a lot of
when we
Chinese
take
immigrants who come here and start businesses which provide employment.
I'm a Chinese here and I work here.
I'm loving your feed.
I'm not aware of the immigration rate into China. There isn't much of one. Where countries, people are immigrating to, where you follow the statistics, yes, economies improve across the board with immigrants and refugees.
Depending
Across
on where,
the board.
it depends on where they're coming from. No, it depends on where they're coming from.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
If you take people from China, they're going to make more, and they're going to add more to the economy than people from
Google. That's not true. There's someone tapping you on the shoulder. That's not true.
I do not.
It's the same old.
You're safe. You're safe
No,
here.
I'm not leaving now.
You're safe here. You're welcome to leave.
Go home, Brandon.
Okay. You want me to go home?
So the
All right, mate, you have a good one.
all right. They're moving Brendan out of here, guys. So you have opposing opinions and opposing views in Vancouver, and you are absolutely going to get surrounded and challenged. That's how it goes in Vancouver. Again, guys, when you have an opposing opinion with the with these lefties here. Brendan showed up in a Trump, in a Trump shirt, and they're all just attacking the guy. They want him to put his sign down. What don't you like about his sign?
He's anti-FIFA.
They're still chasing down Brendan here. I'm gonna. The police are literally escorting Brendan away from away from this crowd.
Fucking scum!
That is sad. This is sad.
Man, these people are pathetic. Brendan is no Nazi.
He's all this man. He's not. I don't see anything that's racist on his sign. This man's trying to have an educated conversation, and he can't. He can't have an educated conversation because we have people who think that they're helping. I was actually talking to a group of 4 Muslim girls, and we actually had a really educated conversation. Those girls at the same time were having an educated conversation. This crowd of people crowds around, and then they just talk crap, they yell crap, they call people Nazis, and why can't we have an educated conversation without this? This is also rhetoric. Yelling and screaming and swearing at people because they have a different view is bad rhetoric. You know what the problem is? We live in a country where everybody has views. I'm not a white supremacist. I don't believe in white supremacy. Fuck the KKK. I condemn that shit. I do, but you know what? People that stand up to bring out info, to bring out percentages, to bring out facts, they're not wrong. They're not wrong to do that. They have every right, whether you agree with it or not. The problem with the left is we become so censored. And we love to censor people. They play music, they try to drown everybody's beliefs out, and then how are we supposed to learn? You know what? Those girls I was talking to who are Muslim, they actually condemned a lot of beliefs that were wrong. And that's what people on certain parts of the right are looking for. Maybe the white supremacists, yeah, they're racists and they're a problem. I don't like them. Great, drown them out. But the people who are just trying to have a genuine conversation, they're losing out.
Just like Brendan. Brendan is a good guy. He is not a Nazi. He is not a racist. And these people are incapable of having a rational discussion with somebody, and they had to chase him out of here because these leftists are, again, incapable of just rationally having an honest discussion about these issues. Often when they are failing at the debate, they will just, it'll just completely dissolve into violence often. I got...
So what were his Nazi ideals? Like, what did he promote that was so Nazi?
No, being a Nazi sympathizer, allowing it to happen.
Freedom of speech does not mean freedom to hate.
This guy's not a Nazi sympathizer, though. He never did. And now he can't talk because everybody's calling him a Nazi.
Not calling him a Nazi. You were talking about how people can't have a conversation about these things. Yeah. You were immediately shutting down this conversation.
That's what happened to him, just up there, just now. They're chasing him out right now. Anyways, let's see what Brendan has to say about this because, he showed up to this rally in a red Trump shirt, and now he's being escorted out by the police. Again, if you're just tuning in, earlier we were broadcasting, and I got surrounded by people calling me a Nazi, white nationalist. Nazis go home. Nazis go home. And then bang, I got pinged in the head. Somebody threw a ball at me and knocked the glasses off my head. And then they did the same thing to my friend Jamie, threw a ball, hit him in the head. So that's what they do. They resort to violence when they can't properly communicate, people. So now they've escorted Brendan down here to the station. I don't know if they're going to make him leave. Let's try to catch up. I'm going to give you a view of what's going on. All right, I think the police took Brendan in here because he was surrounded by people trying to intimidate him and potentially cause him harm. So the police decided it would be best if he left the situation. Well, I was just trying to track down Brendan. He pretty much got escorted out because you know, they're not capable of having a rational debate with somebody. And he had to, well, they're children, and they often result to violence and things like this when they're not capable of having a discussion about these important issues. That this really should be an opening to dialogue.
It should be, but you know, I learned when I went down to the RNC that unfortunately it's pointless to talk to these people, and I'm afraid that the time for talking is slowly coming, is pretty much come to an end.
Well, they don't even talk anymore. I mean, we were surrounded by people saying, you know,
chanting. They were very engaging in all manner of groupthink, and it was really, really creepy, really weird. Like, well, I'm gonna make a video of my experience from my footage, post it in a day or two, and just really examine it. It's really fucking creepy. These people, they're the enemies of civilization. They're the enemies of free humanity, and you know, there's going to be tumultuous times ahead, my friends, I'm afraid to say.
And as we talked about earlier, you were mentioning they're literally tearing down Western society. And when we say literally, I mean, we're talking about, you know, the monuments, statues. You know, my friend the other day made the point, why don't we tear down all the railroads in Canada? Because they were built by Chinese slaves. Maybe we should take down all the railroads, you know, because, hey, Chinese slaves built them. So let's tear them all down. Who needs trains anyways? That's the mentality here.
No, it is very much as I don't believe for a second that these people are insincere in their motives. I think what they want subconsciously is the destruction of civilization, just because it's just inherent in them. I don't know why. When a culture gets too decadent, it self-destructs. Look at ancient Rome. We're on the decline, and I don't know if Western civilization can be resuscitated for one more great epoch.
What kind of parallels do you see? Does this compare to classical, like Marxism and just you know, old school socialism? Are we seeing a rehashing of, you know, older systems that's now making its way infiltrating the West?
Well, you know, Bolshevism. I think it was very much like this. They had their rallies, their communist agitation, and it ended in a bloody revolution. And as it always does, these bloody revolutions of social justice are always preceded by quote unquote mass movements and you know, rallies and social disruption.
And sad to say, it seems like we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. So I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast here, guys. The rally's pretty much over. Again, we just watched police escort my friend Brendan out of here because he was wearing a Trump red T-shirt. So share the links. Go check out the other one. Unfortunately, the broadcast got cut out before I could end it. So I'm going to end this one here now. Be sure to check the links in the description to how you can support us. You can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/pressfortruth. And of course, there's the Patreon alternative link because they're not necessarily the bastions of freedom of speech these days. So you can do that as well at pressfortruth.ca/donate if you want to contribute and help us out do more of these types of broadcasts. So thanks for tuning in. Again, share this video, and that's it. Until next time, guys. Take care.